It's 5 a.m. and Anya's waters have broken.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
She's 7 centimetres dilated, but progressing quickly. She's about to give birth.
And relax.
Sarah. Jana.
Art teacher Damien Sizer met Anya whilst at university. The couple married 9 years ago. Both had always wanted a large family and started trying for a baby soon after they were married. But after 8 months of trying, Anya was worried that nothing was happening and consulted her GP.
So you can use the pots of colour and you can use the paintbrushes.
The couple both had routine fertility tests. Anya's results showed she was ovulating normally, but the news Damien was about to receive would leave his world crashing around him.
He tested my sample and he just said to me, "Hello, Mr. Sizer," he goes, "Yes, there's no sperm in your sample."
Damien had been diagnosed as zoospermic, meaning there was no sperm in his ejaculate.
It was just like, I'd been shocked. It just felt like, what?
And he wouldn't make eye contact either. That was what was really harsh. He just delivered this news: you're infertile, you probably can't have children.
At the age of 16, Damien suffered from a twisted testicle and had to have an emergency operation to rectify the problem.
What I found out really was the operation I had when I was 16 had just virtually given me a vasectomy. That's what it had done, without me wanting one.
Tests showed that Damien was producing a small amount of sperm, but a blockage was preventing them from getting through. The only treatment available for couples with sperm problems is intracytoplasmic sperm injection, or ICSI. ICSI allows a healthy sperm to be selected from the sample and injected directly into the egg. Success rates for ICSI are 1 in 4, but because Damien's sample was so poor, their odds were dramatically reduced.
He said you've got a 1 in 125,000 chance of this ever working, and he said,
Don't do it.
He said, don't do it.
Don't do the IVF.
And if this was my wife, I wouldn't touch this option with the barge pole. I would go straight to sperm donor or adoption.
I felt so sorry for Anya. I felt like I was letting her down. I just felt like, well, go off with someone else. You know, you do, because you think, you know, what good am I?
Having listened to the advice of the doctors, they decided to give ICSI a go. Anya, then 27 years old, began injecting herself with fertility drugs to help her produce eggs. But with statistics already against them, things took a turn for the worse.
Despite my age, which should mean I produce about 15 to 20 eggs, I actually was just, they were pumping with maximum amount of drugs and nothing was happening. So it was just really, really hard work and really hard going. And at one point they just turned around and said, I don't know that it's worth carrying on. I think at the back of my mind, I kept thinking, look, if there's 1 egg and 1 sperm, there's a chance, let's go for it.
Anya eventually produced 3 eggs. Damien now had to go through another biopsy to see if doctors could retrieve any sperm from his testes. It was good news. The doctors had managed to find some sperm.
When I came out from the operation, they just said to me, the specialist said to me, Annie's going in now, we're going to take her eggs because we found stuff to work with. And I was just like saying, you sure? And he went, yeah, I'm sure. I said, how are you sure? He goes, well, I'm an expert. This is my job.
Unbelievably, the couple's first attempt at ICSI worked, and Anya gave birth to a daughter in summer 2003. Given the remarkable odds doctors had given them, only one name sprang to mind.
We both knew that it was hope, but it's so completely her name. It's who she is, and it's her character as well, I think.
The couple were elated, but soon their thoughts turned to trying for a sibling for Hope, and the larger family they'd always longed for.
I remember thinking, this is amazing, but please don't let it be the last child we have.
Let me give you some more.
With their 1 in 125,000 chance of conceiving, would it ever be possible to have another child?
1 blue, 1 pink, 1 blue.
Despite Damien having all but no sperm, Anya and Damien baffled doctors by getting pregnant on almost their first attempt at intracytoplasmic sperm injection, or ICSI, but they longed for another child. When their daughter Hope was 1, they decided to go for a second attempt at ICSI. Anya was a poor responder to fertility drugs, and once again, Anya only produced 3 eggs. The clinic had a frozen sperm sample from Damien already, but just 2 of the 3 eggs fertilised.
They put, again, 2 perfect embryos back in, and I did get pregnant, but I lost it very, very early on.
Anya's body was starting to react against the fertility drugs and producing fewer eggs. Another 2 attempts at ICSI failed, and by now the couple was desperate. It was time to try other methods to help conception. They changed their whole lifestyle, eating only organic food and taking supplements. They also decided to take a more holistic approach to infertility.
I read an article and it was talking about a woman who'd had infertility problems, and she'd been to see an acupuncturist and had become pregnant.
The leading acupuncturist, Gerad Kite, practices 5-element acupuncture. The philosophy of acupuncture is about well-being. It's not used to treat symptoms, but to get the body in its best possible condition.
The best way to explain it is we want the person to be the right environment for a baby to grow. It's the one most important thing in nature is for our species to procreate, but we have to be well. So this is why this work's really important, because it really focuses on people being at their best rather than troubleshooting and trying to find the problems. It's simply saying, let's take you and let's move you forward to a place where you're really well, and then you're more fertile.
Anya and Damien went along to see Gerad, hoping that acupuncture would help them to relax in preparation for their next round of ICSI. After several sessions, both noticed how much better they'd started to feel. Then, whilst awaiting ICSI 5, a miracle.
My period was late. They said, just try doing a test, and I laughed down the phone and said, don't be stupid. And I did a test, and I was about to throw it away, and then I noticed it was 2 lines.
They actually conceive naturally. Obviously, I can't say 100% it was what I did, but I'm presuming that it had stimulated the production of sperm, and at least one had got through.
Sadly, Anya miscarried again, but having conceived naturally, something they never thought they would do, they both felt that things were changing. By ICSI 5, tests showed that remarkably, Damien's sperm count had doubled.
They got a very good sample from you, didn't they?
Just couldn't believe that.
So things were kind of looking better from your point of view, which was brilliant, but almost as low as it could get from my point of view.
The pressures of infertility were now on Anya. Acupuncture might have contributed to doubling Damien's sperm count, but Anya was still responding poorly to the fertility drugs, and she was about to suffer another devastating blow.